What's up, everybody? Today I'm back with another tasty dish. Today it's a Chinese dish called Hong Sho Rou, and that translates to braised pork belly. This is a pretty important dish in Chinese culture, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those old-timey dishes, a traditional dish. If you're Chinese, it's probably something that your grandma or grandpa used to cook or eat a lot. There's a few interesting stories and some folklore behind this dish. Apparently it was Mao Zedong's favorite food. He said it was his brain power that he used to defeat his enemies. So I'm very excited about this. It's really good, it's really delicious, something that you could enjoy as a snack or as a whole meal. So here we go. Braised pork belly with scallions. Hong Sho Rou.
Okay, so here are most of the ingredients that we're going to be working with today for our Hong Sho Rou. Right now I'll just talk about the pork belly. As you can see, it's pretty fatty, but there's also a decent amount of meat on there. I think this is a really good piece. It's balanced between fat and meat. Should work well for this dish. I'll talk about the rest of the ingredients as we get to them. Alright, so the first step with the pork belly here is that we're going to parboil it. Now what that means is we're going to let that pot get to a full rolling boil. Then we're going to take our pork belly and place it inside the boiling water. Let it sit there for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, not too long. What it does is just kind of, melts away any of the excess fat or anything like that that's hanging out on the meat, gets rid of any impurities, kind of cleans it off, and then it makes it ready for the actual braise. So, we're waiting for the water to boil. Next step, while we're waiting, is to take some of these red jalapenos, take the tops off, and just throw them in a pan like this, just a little foil dish, and put them in the oven for just a few minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. That's at 300 degrees, and yeah, we're just going to take those chilies just like that, and right in the oven. Alright, our water is boiling, so we're going to take the pork belly and just gently place it in. You don't want any splashes, you don't want any burns. Gently, just like that, and we're going to leave it sitting for, like I said, about 2 or 3 minutes. Just enough so the outside is looking cooked, but the inside is still completely raw. Okay, so the parboiling of the pork belly is done. Let's take it out and take a look. So the outside seems to be cooked, but inside it's definitely still raw. That's all we need to do, so let's just place it down on a plate here and get started. Alright, the next step in the process here is to cut the pork belly into about 1-inch size cubes. So we're just going to chop it up maybe to about, let's say, probably around 8 cubes. And you don't want them to be too small, you don't want them to be too big, kind of bite-sized, I guess. And if you take a look, you can see clearly that it's still raw on the inside, so that's good. The Hong Sho Rou is finally starting to come together. Now that we've got the pork chopped up, we're going to get the braising sauce going. So right here is something called lump candy or rock candy. It's a Chinese thing. It's just big chunks of sugar. And if you could have seen on the front of the package, there was a spelling mistake. I just thought that was really strange. See, there it says lump candy, but on the front, lump candy. Really weird. And kind of sketchy, but whatever. So now, we just gotta melt the sugar in the oil, and that is the base for our braising liquid. Delicious. As you can see, the sugar is caramelized, and here we're gonna take our pork and put it right in the pan. Don't do what I just did. I kind of splattered oil. Just use your hands and gently place them in the pan. Now that we've got the pork browning nicely, we're going to add our Shaoxing wine. This is rice wine. There are different types. Some of them come salted, specifically for cooking. Others are just straight up rice wine. And that is the one I'm using. It's called Hua Diao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these things correctly. I never took Chinese. I took Japanese, but not Chinese. Hua Diao, that sounds somewhat correct to me, but I am uneducated in the Chinese language. So, straight up rice wine, that's what you want. You want to get the pork fully just kind of swimming in it, let it brown for a little while longer, and then we shall move on to the next step of adding all the aromatics and vegetables. Okay, so on to the aromatics. We've got ginger, we've got scallions, we've got those dried chilies, and maybe just a little bit of fennel seed. All I'm doing here is just peeling the ginger, make sure all the skin's off, then I'm going to chop it into decent sized chunks, kind of like little discs. So that's all you need to do for the ginger, really. Then we're just going to chop up all the scallions, add the chilies whole, and then we get onto the braising. Let it simmer for about an hour. Really simple. We are so close to done, guys. I can taste it already. We've added all the aromatics, all the ginger, scallions, and chilies, and the fennel seeds into the braising liquid with the pork, and now all we have to do is just make sure everything's all situated nicely. That's not really a necessary step, but it's what I do. And then we cover it and let it braise for, I'd say, about 45 minutes to an hour. And that's it. Once it comes out of the braise, it is done, and it's going to be delicious. So as you could see, oh, there's my Crocs. I didn't have the right sized pot cover. So, now that I do, we're ready for braising. Here we go, Hong Sho Rou in all its beauty and splendor. Look at that red lacquered color, it's amazing. And let me take it over to the light. You can see the ginger on the side, got nice and candied, makes a beautiful snack. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Hong Sho Rou, or red cooked pork as it's known sometimes. Let me know what you thought. See you guys in the next one. Peace.